Firstly, I'll say I've just seen the monitor on Amazon for £140 with vouchers. And at that price, I'd go put it in your shopping basket and come back and watch the rest of the video. Because when I bought it, it was £200 and I don't feel like I've overpaid, even knowing I could pick up another one for £140 right now. So at £140, I'd just buy it outright. Now, this is the Minifire MFG27F6Q Pro. What a mouthful. Minifire is a brand I'd never heard of, but their proposition here was a 27-inch 300Hz 1440p fast IPS panel monitor for £200, and my pocket said why not. At the time, I'd been hoping to maybe pick up the KTC H27E6, which was similarly spec'd. I'd seen some promising reviews on the KTC, but at the time it was seemingly either sold out or undeliverable across Europe, which it looks like it currently is again. So I took my chances on the Minifire, and there were plenty of reasons why not to. A seemingly cheap high refresh monitor from a brand I'd never heard of seemed like a recipe for something or everything to go wrong. I tried to find any information on the company or reviews on the monitor, but there really wasn't much to be found. But thankfully, taking a chance on it turned out to be a great choice. The base and stand on the monitor are plastic and stable enough. Since they are stable and given the price, it's hard to complain, especially since the stand also has height, tilt, vertical and horizontal rotational adjustability. Input-wise, the monitor has two DisplayPort 1.4 ports and two HDMI 2.1 ports. I have my Mac connected by HDMI and my PC connected by a DisplayPort, both running at 300Hz. I have the response time set to fast since this gave the least ghosting when using the UFO test. It also has MPRT, which while it does noticeably lower the brightness, is usable if you want to try to further improve the motion clarity, and you're not overly sensitive to flickering. I use it under user picture mode with the color temperature set to normal. It has a claimed 400 nit brightness, which I can't verify, but I have found it more than bright enough in varying lighting conditions. In-game, the monitor looks good and is responsive. Coming from a 240Hz 1080p monitor, I feel the upgrade in resolution and frame rate have had a positive impact on my gameplay. Though a lot of that may just be due to the increase in resolution, as it's not always possible to hit 300 frames per second in the games I'm playing. The monitor also has built-in speakers, but I never think that they are a selling point on the monitor, regardless of how good they may relatively be. I'd always recommend investing in audio separately and away from the monitor. Originally, I had bought this monitor to tide me over till I could afford to pick up an OLED, but it is a monitor that in its competency and competitiveness has dampened both my desire and urgency to pick up an OLED. Admittedly, some of that is also down to the potential weaknesses and shortcomings of an OLED monitor, as well as waiting for some of the newer models to finally be released and maybe even go down in price. Either way, it doesn't feel like I'm compromising, but rather that I'm afforded the space and time to carefully pick out my next purchase by virtue of the Minifire's quality and competency. So rather than just settling for a budget monitor, I find myself with a competent and competitive monitor that will see me through to my next upgrade. And whether the point at which I pick up a new monitor be in a few months or years, for now the Minifire is happily my main monitor and not just the temporary monitor I had initially intended it to be. So if your budget can only stretch so far, it's definitely a great value for money pickup. And if you find it lower than £200, it's a no-brainer.